Hello, BookTube. I've got a little bit of mail for you on a Thursday that was mild and tempered, sweet as could be, but has been getting more and more ominous with every minute. The long-term data that I looked at for the weather today was that we had a chance of thunderstorms tonight. Doesn't look to me like we're going to get to sunset without something. When it happens this fast and is this dark, yeah, usually that means something, not just passing clouds. We shall see. The Bean and I, those of you who are new to the channel, that is my little dog, my little miniature schnauzer, Frida. We've had a number of wonderful walks today, so if her mortal enemy, Rain, moves in, well, we're well exercised. But I thought we'd do some mail. I opened a little bit of mail this morning in a squee of excessive enthusiasm, so we won't count that. But I've got a few packages here, just 3 packages here, to keep up with all of the mail hauling that's going on elsewhere on BookTube. And we'll look at these things as we have been. A lot of you seem to enjoy it. In addition to just looking at them for themselves and seeing what's interesting and whatnot, we'll also think about them a little bit in terms of the book reviewing game, which, again, for those of you who are new to this channel, and there are those of you who are new to this channel, that is my game. The book reviewing game is my world. I am a freelance book reviewer. I have reviewed a lot of books in my life, maybe more than anybody. And also I am a book section editor, both online and in print. So when I look at books, I am handicapping them not just for the interest of how they're going to be to me as a general interest reader, but also how they're going to be for those 2 professional reasons. And the first 2 packages that we deal with here are incredibly thin. Once upon a time, for many, many years, while before I had this channel, and also for many years after I started this channel, I would just assume that these were publisher catalogs. But I don't get print publisher catalogs in the mail anymore. I get them as attachments, and I should. I shouldn't get those as paper things that go in the mail. But if it's not a catalog, I'm assuming these 2 things are slim volumes of poetry. Nothing else tends to be this small. Yes, okay. This first one is a slim volume of poetry. So this comes out next year. This comes out in January. And this is Foxglove Wise by Angie Mlinko. Quite a lovely cover. It'd be nice if we could extend 2024's trend of nice covers into 2025. That would be really nice. But we're up against the wall when it comes to reading the pub sheet for these things. As I've pointed out many times, what are you supposed to do writing a pub sheet about contemporary poetry? It is not only incomprehensible, but incomprehensible by design. So what are you supposed to say about it if you're a hard-working, well-intentioned publicist? Well, let's see. We'll give it a try. In this, let's see, Angie Mlinko explores displacement, geography, mythology, and the loss in her new collection. See what I mean? What book doesn't explore those things? The latest issue of Action Comics explores displacement, geography, mythology, and loss. What book doesn't do that? So, this book is, at its core, a response to the singular experience of the loss of one's parents. Okay, that sounds refreshingly specific. It begins at an Eastern Orthodox Epiphany ritual in Florida and ends in a cemetery in Los Angeles. The path, as any reader of this author knows, is never a straight one. Her elusive verse wends its way from start to end by means of stylish detours. Okay, so is it possible that this tells the story of grief? An actual narrative? Well, wouldn't that be wonderful? Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm not going to find out because I'm not going to read it because it's it's a release for next year, but it goes on the pile. And let's see if I'm right. And this next one is also a slim volume of poetry. I don't see what else it could be if it's this small. Oh no, this isn't a slim volume of poetry. Here, let's do it. Is this an invoice or is this a description? No, this comes out on October 1st, and this is by Deborah Levy, and it is The Position of Spoons and Other Intimacies. Really kind of dreading that by intimacies we kind of sort of mean essay here. I never know what to make of that kind of nomenclature, but let's see. To describe this as a book about literature and art feels both accurate and somehow inadequate. What would be adequate? What else is it? The launch of a space missile? This is indeed a book of criticism, one in which writers and books abound. Virginia Woolf, Marguerite Duras, Colette, George Eliot, Elizabeth Hardwick, and others. But as with all of Levy's work, so much here is in Levy's own artistry and her inimitable approach. does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean that this is a collection of book reviews? People always try to gussy that up. I don't know why. It's like they're ashamed of my profession. If an author comes out with a collected period pieces that they did for the LRB or LARB or whatever, they try to hide it. They try to hide that fact by saying that it was all part of a grand plan of a literary essay collection. Yeah, there's an essay here on Marguerite Duras. The psychopathology of everyday cafe life in Freud's Vienna. Okay, well, there's a lot of these things. Yeah, this thing is 150 pages long and has what, 30 pieces in it. Anyway, let's see. Maybe the hub sheet will tell us. The pieces in this collection are short, sometimes no more than a page. Okay, so they're not essays. Let's not call them that. Good. And many are quite personal. There is a letter addressed to Levy's mother and reflections about emigrating from South Africa to London as a teenager. There's an alphabetical essay about death and celebrity in which D stands for James Dean, G for God, and M for midlife crisis, O for oral sex, and P for Jackson Pollock. About a meal in a restaurant of a Bloomsbury-themed hotel, she writes, quote, Virginia Woolf killed herself by placing stones in the pocket of her raincoat and jumping into a river. What would you think about being remembered as a hamburger served with coleslaw and fries? That's typically what you get if you're only ruminating for a page. That's typically the type of thing you'll come out with. It's a stand-up routine. These are the transcripts of stand-up comedy. From the enigmas of J.G. Ballard to the particular charge that comes from wearing a beloved pair of shoes to the rewards of the writing life, this is a book marked by elegance and magic. Well, we shall see. We shall see. This is not like the other book. This I can do right away if I want to. I mean, this is, what did we say? October 1st. So I probably won't do it right away. Because it still has a bit of time, and I'm up to my eyeballs still in August books. But okay, a slim volume of poetry, and a slim volume of aphorisms, which, I say it scornfully, but it can get you a column at the New York Times, so it's not nothing. And then this last package, which I'm hoping has a little bit more of a page count to it. That would be great. What is this last one? Oh, great. Okay. All right. Okay, I don't have a sheet for this, but I know where this is going. I actually have a recipient for this. We saw the advanced copy of this. Now we have the finished copy of Simone Weil, A Life in Letters, edited by Robert Chanarvier and André Deveau. So this is the finished copy we've got. In this case, I always rail against the laziness of putting an out-of-focus, faded sepia-tone photograph on the cover of a book. The production team, at least here, who is this? The Belknap Press of Harvard University Press. At least here they decided to make it a faded photograph. They gave it the borders. That adds something. That saves it a little. But let's see what we got here. So that now the finished copy now has blurbs all over the back cover. But I can read you from the dust jacket because this is out. This is out right away. This is out soon. I don't have the sheet for it, but this is soon. Now in the pantheon of great thinkers, Simone Weil lived largely in the shadows, searching for her spiritual home while bearing witness to the violence that devastated Europe twice in her brief lifetime. The letters she wrote to her parents and brother from childhood onward chart her intellectual range as well as her itinerancy and ever-shifting preoccupations, revealing the singular personality at the heart of her brilliant essays. Okay, well, she moved around a lot and saw 2 wars, and all the rest of that paragraph I disagree with. But I am not going to be the final recipient of this book. It's going on to its home in New Haven, so I won't have to worry about it. The first complete collection of her missives to her family, A Life in Letters, offers new insights into her personal relationships and experiences. The letters abound with vivid illustrations of a life marked by wisdom as much as seeking. The daughter of a bourgeois Parisian Jewish family, she was a troublemaking idealist who preferred the company of miners and Russian exiles to that of her peers. An extraordinary scholar of history and politics, she ultimately found a home in Christian mysticism. She paired teaching with poetry and even dabbled in mathematics, as evidenced by her correspondence with her brother Andre, who won the Kyoto Prize in 1994 for the famed Ray conjectures. Okay, well, this is the finished copy. It bears almost no difference from the advanced copy. There is no photograph of the editor. There is no included artwork. Usually there is a big difference. There will be a big difference in the finished copies of both of these. But this is just the advanced copy in hardcover. Okay, fine. Great. All right, well, that's not a bad mail haul. A slim volume of poetry. A collection of scripts from Deborah Levy about wondering how Virginia Woolf would feel to know that she were remembered as a particular kind of hamburger at a Kishi theme restaurant. Because, of course, she's not remembered in any other way. Well, so, the irony. And a Life in Letters, a letter collection, one of the year's 10 most notable letter collections. So there you go. That is the mail as I furtively try to keep up. But I don't think any more mail is coming today, although it looks like something is. We could get a cloudburst. That'd be a lot of fun. There's always an aesthetic element to an oncoming thunderstorm. There's a little bit of a drawback for me because I have a dog now who not only dislikes the rain, but viciously hates it. Viciously hates it. Most of my other dogs weren't all that fond of the rain, but they'd put up with it. You put up with it if you have to go. And every once in a great while, in the past, I have had a beagle who was perfectly happy to go tromping out in it. There's nothing like tromping through deep woods in a pouring rain. Nothing like that. It's wonderful. Just wonderful. But I'm not going to make anybody do that. And the number of times that I've had a dog like that, it was one of the only reasons that I've often wished that sometimes my own personal life intersected more with more outdoorsy type breeds. Although I had a pointer who had no interest in doing any of that at all. But anyway, that's the mail. A couple of slim volumes and a collection of letters. Pretty good. I'm sorry that I opened the earlier mail off camera, but we'll get to it. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.